This is my third music magazine cover in my Amusement Final Major Project series. For this piece, I decided to focus on alternative music, and I decided to explore the genre by doing research and looking at the aesthetic perpetuated through the 80s. I again decided to use more characters that I had initially developed in my previous final major project, which is fantasy and mythology based. I used my characters Tora and Fable for this. For Tora, I decided to go for a more punk aesthetic, inspired heavily by Vivienne Westwood, who is somebody that I researched and used for inspiration during the community project for Sleeping Beauty. I looked at the rock and roll aesthetic and punk fashion influences during that. And for the other side of alternative, I wanted to give Fable a more goth based look, heavily inspired by the short lived 80s group Strawberry Switchblade, which was most notably the influence of the ribbons in the character's hair. The hair was a very integral part in the design process to make this feel reminiscent of the 80s. I felt that it needed to be really big, and it was definitely an interesting challenge to try and mix that with the hairstyles that I had originally designed for each of the characters. I chose the characters based on both their more serious personalities and their darker colour palettes. I felt that adding a lot of grit and darkness was a very key part into perpetuating the alternative aesthetic. There were a lot of different fashion movements during the 80s, which is why I decided to focus on two for this piece. I wanted to explore both punk and goth fashion instead of just focusing on including one. I really wanted to focus on adding some darkness, some grit into the piece, and with this, I ended up adding multiple overlays, including 80s film overlays and plenty of noise in an attempt to help age the magazine cover.